Sammy.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Annie.
Hi.
there.
Hi. Let me just make sure I'm going to put it in gallery so I can see everyone. You guys can see me and hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Is my mother coming?
She's coming.
Good. I was wondering. I was like, she better.
I don't know. Maybe she needs to go show some property and skip out on us.
But what could be more important than this? Come on.
I know. Seriously. Jane is here from Australia, so it's 3 a.m. So you better, this better be good.
Seriously. Is it really 3 a.m. in Australia right now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I nod off, you know why.
Yeah, exactly. You pass out. I did, what's funny is I have done a couple news show interviews in Australia, and I actually have a nice little, it's funny, I have some followers from Australia because of that. I forget what, I was just trying to look up what show it was, but it's like the most popular Sydney morning show. Are you in Sydney?
We're in south of Sydney, but we do get the Sydney TV here.
Yeah, I forget which one it was. Like Good Morning Australia or something. I forget.
Good Morning Australia, Today.
Yeah. Yes, I think it was Today, maybe.
Today, was it?
I forget the names of the ones that were on there, but
I don't normally watch the TV in the mornings, so I don't really know.
And I was gonna say, and this was a couple months ago too. It wasn't recent, but when I got the Guinness World Record, they did an interview.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was fun. It's just so funny, it's like how Australia has heard of me. It's like crazy, It's like the gape around the world.
1 hour, Joanne.
I saw that interview. Didn't I send that to you, Mary?
Yeah, I think that you did. Yes. We've been keeping our eye out on you, Sam.
I had to look it up.
Yes.
Mama's in the house.
There she is. I was going to say, I hope my mother is here. She better.
There she is.
Yeah, Sam, thank you for taking. I'm sure that you have other things that you could be doing today.
No, this is great. This is perfect. This is perfect timing. We after this, we do our sandwich Saturday. So we'll go. So this is perfect. This is great timing. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy. I'm grateful that you invited me. This is cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know about Sandwich Saturday, it's an absolute must follow. It's my very favorite. I love to eat. And I don't know about other countries, Annie and Jane, you can speak to this, but while here in Poland, sandwiches we don't have two pieces of bread on a sandwich. We have, everything is open face. Okay. So, I love a good old American sandwich, and Samantha takes us, I live vicariously through you eating on Sandwich Saturday.
Yes. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Stacy. Samantha, I have been following you before I realized your aunt and you were related.
Shut up. That's awesome.
So, because your aunt and I have known each other since Phoenix days, which is like 14 years ago. 15, I don't know. 14 years ago. Yeah, 11, whatever. And then we were talking, and then she says, "Oh, my niece is Samantha." I was like, "I'm a huge fan." And I'm a huge fan of James. I'm the one that's always asking about James. So she and I were talking, and I said, "Is James there?"
I'll have to have him pop in. He went to go to the gym, but when he comes back.
Oh my God, when you do the James, I tell you I follow the sandwich ones, but the James ones, he goes along with everything, makes me laugh so hard.
He's such a good sport. He is a fan favorite. It's like, it's so funny. You try out new stuff like that, and you're like, oh, how's this going to do? And that is just one thing. I mean, it's crazy, especially on TikTok. I don't know. Are you on TikTok too, or is this on Instagram?
I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah. TikTok. I mean, one of those videos, I think one of the most viewed videos, I got 40 million views on one of the videos. And he gets recognized too. Like he was like, I was just out, he has, a normal job, and he was out, with his boss one day, and he was like walking down the street and people were like, oh, James. Like, the boss was like, what is that? He's like,
I tell you, I just love your humor. I love the way you own yourself, I love your butt ones. We have bidets. My husband's from Turkey. We have bidets everywhere. And so when you're talking about it, I'm like, yes, clean butthole. The other ladies will have to look it up, but it is.
Yes, I know other ladies will be like, what buttholes? What? But I discovered bidets. Actually, my mom, that was my first experience. My mom got the bidet, like a really fat, like fancy bidet system.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is crazy that Americans are like over here still wiping their butts. When we haven't, it's like the magic of bidets. It's really crazy. And it's like Americans are scared of bidets for some reason. Like anytime I mention a bidet, people are like, no, that's weird. But it's like, it's so funny that everywhere else in the world, everyone has bidet, it's like we are so behind in the butthole cleanse,
I'm excited to hear about how you've self-marketed, how you've utilized your social media. Because I've watched you for a long time. So I've been watching you grow, and it's just like,
yes,
you've done an amazing job.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure Auntie Mary, I know this is like, I know technically the topic was like morning routine, but I'm sure like any questions too that are like, whatever, obviously feel free to ask anything.
Okay. Well, listen, this group is all about this. And this is FFT is the fucking first time. I didn't make this up. This is from Brene Brown. When she did her first podcast, she called it the FFT. Like, she's like, when in life we're always doing something for the fucking first time and we don't recognize it. And you're doing an FFT like every day, like 10 times a day, all the time.
Pretty much. Yes. It's addicting, once you do that fucking first time for the first time and you get this high from it, it's like you almost become like you love that rush. Now it's like all these things that used to, like the idea of having my own show and of quitting my job and all these things, it was like, oh my God, that is probably the scariest thing I could ever do. Once you do it, then it's like, this is the best feeling ever. I did it, like, let's go again. What can I do next to, keep going further and further. So yeah,
it's momentum.
The momentum of it. Yeah,
it's addicting. Totally.
Yes. Yep.
And so now I know from being your aunt that you've been you spent your childhood on stage. Yes. even at the church, like you were always the one up on stage. And then you went through a period where you were like, no, I'm going to be normal.
Yeah. Well, it was like, growing up in Maine, it was like, well, first, even like, when I was growing up, I'm 31. So it's, when I was young, it's like, even being a comedian, it was like, females aren't comedians, like I remember looking up and it was like, comedians aren't a real job. I remember it was like, my thing I wanted to do was like, oh, Broadway, because that was like, to be on stage was Broadway, like the most conventional, stereotypical labels. It was like, oh, you're going to be a singer. Do you want to be like a Celine Dion, a Broadway? But like comedians and social media and all these new TikTok, it's like, that was never a real job. So it was like, when you're going to the guidance counselor and you're like, I want to be on stage. I want to be a performer. People are like, no, that's not, that's not a real job. It was time it was like, get a real degree, get a real job, and I think a lot of women too, it was like in my generation, like had mothers too who were like, mothers, we saw our moms where it was like, we want to be successful. We want to be this boss babe. It was like, be the girl boss and make as much money as you can and be successful and be financially independent. And that was like the goal. It was like, all right, how do I, be a boss babe CEO, and it was like the conventional ways. You go, you get a degree from college and you get a 9-to-5 job in corporate America. And like, that was success. And so, of course, got a business degree, went and got into corporate America. And it was really like, I didn't even start doing all this again until I was 28. So like for like
fascinating 2 years. Oh,
Yes.
3 years, maybe
3 years. Like I've done all this and more like just in the last year or two, really a lot of this stuff in the last year. So it was really 28. And if you're a spiritual person, that's kind of like your Saturn return, there's this moment in your life around 28, everyone has it where it's like, I kind of had this come to Jesus moment. I'm like, if you look back to when I was 28, I was 50 pounds overweight. I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I didn't sing. I didn't do comedy. I worked 14 hours a day. I came home, drank, ate fast food, went to bed, and did it all over again. Like I was doing nothing for myself. It was just, how do I be as successful at this job? That was all I thought about. And obviously that led to a depression and a lot of anxiety and a moment where I was like, all right, I'm 28. I have a house. I did everything I was supposed to. I have the 9-to-5 job. I'm making 6 figures a year. Like you would think I would be the happiest person alive. And I was like, I'm miserable. I'm on 2 antidepressants. I can't sleep. I was trying to go all these different therapies. I was like trying transcendental meditation. I was like anything. I was like Googling like, like, what is wrong with me? How to be happy? I was like, why am I like this? And I was like, it was funny. It was like, actually funny, my dad, who was, I was calling, I'm like, do I change my career? Is it my career? Maybe like, what am I having this like existential crisis for? And I remember my dad was like, well, why don't you do, one thing you used to do that you loved was you loved to sing when you were little. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I'm 28. I'm going to just start singing. Yeah. Like, and it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to sing again. Plus I'm like smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Like my voice is crap at this point. But he was like, maybe go back to things that you used to love, think about, when you were little and you had no cares in the world and society and all these people weren't telling you what to do. What did you love to do? So that
great
kept
question, ladies.
Yeah. And that was something that kept coming back. And obviously, if you have a voice that's inside your head that keeps pinging you, I was like, all right, I'm just going to look at singing lessons, and I literally I just Googled local singing lessons. And there was like, I was the oldest one there. It was like everyone else was like 12, 11 years old. It was like this little after school program. And here I am, 28, signing up for singing lessons with the 10-year-olds. And, it was one of those things I canceled, rescheduled it. I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go. Of course, that led, I was like, oh my God, where has this been my whole life? And, one scary thing. And I was like, wow, I did it. And after that, I literally went home and I just like sang all night. Like, I remember I came home and I just like, all I wanted to do was sing. And, of course, then I started signing up, I started doing more. And then it just came the snowball effect where it was like, then they had, this graduation, like spring program. Again, I was the oldest one. It was like me and like a bunch of 12-year-olds. And it was my first time performing since I was 17. I'm 28, 28. And it's in this coffee shop. And it's literally, we had an audience of 10 people. And I just remember afterwards, I like could not stop smiling. I didn't sleep all night. I was like, this is it. This is it. I need to be on stage. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm 28. But I need to keep doing it. I need to find a way to keep doing it. And then it just kept, and then that kept to doing some other little open mics, going to, there were some little open mics in Stamford where I live. I live in Stamford, Connecticut, which is like, it's like 45 minutes outside New York City. So I'm kind of close to New York City. And I'd always wanted to do comedy. And again, it's almost like that, the first fucking time it was like, I've always wanted to do comedy. It's crazy, but I'm already doing singing lessons and I thought I never could do that. So an improv class. I'll sign up for a comedy improv class. I signed up for that and I was like, oh my God, this is like, again, it was like, oh my God, I can't imagine not doing this, ever. It's like, this to me was like, I mean, like, it just naturally, I just stopped smoking. It was like, I just naturally stopped smoking. I naturally was like, this is such a great feeling. Like, how do I get more of this? And I just naturally was like, all right, I got to start, if I really want to take this seriously, I got to start exercising again. I got to start eating better. And naturally, just like all these things, my health started changing. I started to want to do better, because I was doing these things that I loved again. And, but yeah, a year later, I was doing singing lessons regularly. I was doing these gigs. I joined a band. We were doing local gigs. I was doing improv and taking classes, comedy classes in New York City. I had lost 50 pounds, wasn't smoking cigarettes anymore. And, it was like literally, and this is all like right up before COVID too, of course. And I was really starting to just get into, I was like, oh my God, can I like really do this? Like, holy crap, like I'm 29 and could I really do this for like, a living, or is as long, it was in my life, and that alone was like just changing me completely as a person. And, I was posting a little bit on social media, but really it was COVID-19 happened, and like everyone else in the world, especially for live performers, it was like, what the heck am I going to do? I have videos too of me in like April 2020, just crying, making like the videos, like, I feel like I should quit, maybe this was the universe again being like, this isn't your path, do it as a fun thing, but maybe this isn't, your path, keep your day job, and then TikTok came along and I was like, everyone was blowing up and I was like, I'll just play around on it. And my first video got over 100,000 views. And it was just me going, it was like something, it was like 10 seconds. I was like, I wonder how this app works. I literally just was like, made these crazy faces. And I was like, holy crap. Well, if I, it's like, all right, I have nothing else to do. This is like deep COVID, we're in our house. I'm going to make a video, make a promise myself, make a video every day. And I'm going to keep it as authentic to me. I'm going to do the kind of content that I like, that I think is funny, where it's, especially kind of unique to me. What do I have that's different than anybody else? Of course, this is millions of creators on this app, or at least thousands at this point. What do I have that's different? I got a big mouth, and it was just finding what works and trying a million, different things. And then I really just found my groove. And now, then it's like long story short, literally, but it just took off. And as I kept as authentic to myself and was like, how do I embrace, have this message where it's like, I've embraced what's made me different and I've capitalized on it. And now, I'm doing what I love full time by embracing who I am. And also too, having this message, and I've always said, like, I've always wanted to have some sort of message where, it's inspiring to, especially young girls, where I feel like, that 13-year-old girl I could really speak to where I was, where it was like, I feel like there's different. I feel like I want to do these things, but I feel like I am not good enough. I'm not, I can't do it. The society, everyone else is saying I can't do it, so I'm not going to do it. But you can do it, you can do anything you want. So now I get to do what I love, and now I do it full time, which is crazy.
Which just happened recently.
You asked a question, and then I just completely just went on a
tangent. Oh, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. So you just left your job recently.
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, which is crazy. But it's, it is, it's funny, there's like that quote that's like, you can work an 8 to 5 job you hate, or you can work 24 hours a day doing what you love. It's like, but it's, I get to do what I love. I get to create. I get to, last night I had a gig where I did I did a wedding. Literally, a person reached out and was like, we will hire you to come to our wedding.
A wedding? Yeah. I hope you sang.
Yes, I did. I sang, but they wanted me to just almost too. It was like I did like a I do this live secrets game too, where it's an interactive, and on my Instagram, I do it a lot where people submit their weird secrets. Now I have a podcast on it too. Something weird they do, and I bring up people and we do like a whole little game out of it. And it's very interactive and engaging. And so I do that, and then I sing, and then I'll just kind of hang out. Like they'll just kind of pay me to just like be there at their wedding. Like literally, I come up and talk, do a little bit for like 15 minutes, but then the rest is just for me to hang out there. Yeah. And do a song or two. Yeah. And then just kind of like hang out. So, and then I have huge deals. Like I have huge companies, KFC. So funny, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is I'm sure you guys know what that is, even if you're international. They pay me $10,000 for 3 videos on TikTok. Wow. I make 3 videos for them and they pay me $10,000. So, and I have Tushy, I have these huge partnerships now where it's like, I'm making more than I was, my previous job doing what I love. And I do like, it's crazy. And never in a million years, well, it's funny. It's like, that 28-year-old that was like, so scared, I'm like, she, it's just like, she would be so proud, it's like, look where we've come, it's just really crazy just by saying yes and doing a couple things that are like, oh, this is crazy. I don't know if I should do it. But just by saying yes and doing a fucking first time, like.
Can
Amen to that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Anne, go ahead.
Hi. Hi, Samantha. I have just joined TikTok literally a couple of weeks ago. I'm okay on Instagram, TikTok's new. What do you do on there? I'm going to find you, but I just would love to know what you do.
Yes. So, well, of course, so I started as a singer. So I do some songs on there, but one of my claim to fame. So I have a Guinness World Record. Oh, where's my plaque? Oh, I thought I had it. I was going to grab it, but I have a Guinness World Record for the largest mouth in the world for a female. It's ginormous. So obviously I do a lot of, TikTok is big on trending sounds and trends. So I do a lot of like, I'll do a lot of weird, crazy faces. And my boyfriend gets involved. We do some funny comedian, comedy style pranks with each other. But the biggest thing, like most people know me as like the big mouth girl because I'll do big trends. I do big sandwiches. So I go around and Sandwich Saturday, and living like right outside New York City. Of course, I'm kind of like in the sandwich mecca of America, which there's just huge sandwiches everywhere. And I go around and find like biggest sandwich. So I do that. So I have a bunch of different things, but a lot of people know me as big mouth girl, but I do a couple different things, but I have, as of today, 2.5 million followers, almost. I'm almost.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Crazy. I know, it's crazy.
Oh, so Annie, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that the key, if with what I'm getting here, Samantha, is to just try stuff and see what's authentic to you. The authentic part is the message that I'm getting from you, is to be authentic to yourself.
Yeah, totally. When, if there's like, a lot of people are like, how do I be successful on TikTok or on social media? And it's like, what do you love to? What do you love to watch? It's like, what makes you happy? What's the kind of content that you turn to, when you need a smile or, I think about, why do I go to social media? Things that make me smile or things that make me, especially feel less lonely or, stuff that's relatable, so that's the kind of content I love to do. And also like, what are your strong suits? There are people on there, I don't think people realize, like there's the her name's, I forget her name is, her name's Grandma, I forget the full title is, but she's 85 years old and she goes on and gives advice. And there's someone, there's cooks, it's funny. I mean, there is, I'm sure once you go on there, you'll notice it is like, that's what I do also kind of love about TikTok. I think Instagram was very much like this curated, perfect. Everyone was, edited and Facetune, and all these, it was the perfect, influencer. And TikTok is like, it's like celebrating the freaks in a little bit of the way. It's like, you see everything on there. A guy that like, I follow this guy who tries to get a seat. a seagull into his apartment every day. And every day he journals, he videos him trying to get the seagull, him feeding the seagull. And it's like, but it's hilarious. It's just, there's everything. It's like, what do you love? What do you think is funny? Or you think would bring a smile to others and that you're strong in? It's something that's different about you. Again, I had the big mouth. Maybe there's a girl who sings like a seagull, like it's like whatever, people have these weird quirks. There's I was just watching a puppeteer on there doing this. That's what I think is really cool about it, is it celebrates everyone that has these differences, and his uniqueness.
I like what you mentioned about Instagram and everything is curated and perfect. And it freaks me out. I think that I get more depressed when I'm scrolling through Instagram than I get joy out of it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel that way. And I think it's starting to change more. Like, as you see, it's bringing a lot of things that people love about TikTok. It's bringing the reels over. It's a lot more videos instead of just pictures, because I used to be the picture was, in the bathing suit, the perfect body, these influencers. And now it's more videos now, and they're starting to bring over, the reels, which, is basically kind of TikTok bringing over Instagram. So, I think they notice that people want more authentic, raw content rather than that picture perfect model, I don't, and they're starting to curate that more. And I think with the algorithm, that everyone talks about, sees that people don't want to look at that anymore. They're more drawn to these, videos that make them laugh, or this more authentic content that, people can relate to rather than someone that's completely unrelatable.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Or maybe two questions. So one is, do you have someone helping you now with uploading and doing that? No. And then how did you teach yourself? Because I'm doing Instagram. I know I need to start videos and things. But my demographic is women 30 to 50 pretty much. I'm a mental health therapist and also a women's coach.
Oh, awesome.
And my thing with Mary, we've been kind of zoning in on who my ideal client is. And I really just want to start coaching on confidence. And I am having that hard time hitting I wrote it down what you said, keep content authentic to me. And I think with the mental health, the way we're trained is to be distanced and to frame it and hold it. And I was like you, I got into it and I started feeling like I'm not myself. Maybe I picked the wrong thing. Here's my midlife change. And I did this whole new, and then I had someone say, Stacy, just be you. And when I started incorporating that in my therapy sessions, it's great. And in my coaching sessions, I don't know how to translate that onto social media. I feel like,
Yeah, well, that's, I would say you almost just got to try and see how it goes. It's like, that's the thing, there was always this quote, it's like, no one wants to be seen, starting small, but it's like, you got to just do it. And that's the best way to learn it. And it's, it's the same with anything, especially like with stand-up right now. A lot of people like, how do you get into stand-up? It's like, you just do it. Like you just do it and you fail and you learn from it. And then you get better and you get back up and you do it again. And then you learn and, and then you keep doing it and you do it over and over and over and over again. So I think for that, it's like, try something that feels authentic. I will, sometimes, maybe, searching some other types of mental health, some things that maybe feel that are kind of up your alley, like maybe looking at some other types of ways that other, mental health advocates, TikTok, maybe get some inspiration, not to, just to see how they feel. Like a lot of people do it differently. You can either do trending sounds, and that's maybe how I would start is like working, you'll see some trending sounds and kind of make it your own, sharing your own story. That's always big too, and again, to try and keep it as authentic to you, share your own story, how you got into it, using some trending sounds. The best, with TikTok, unfortunately, a part of it is also just watching it because it is such a like in the know, like a lot of people who are on there, there's a lot of like inside jokes. Like it almost feels like inside TikTok jokes because there are certain trending sounds, like certain like bones, like is it a no bones or a bones day? Like some people have no idea what that is, but on TikTok everyone knows what that is because there's this noodle pug that they stand up and if he falls down it's a no bones day. And if he stands up, it's a bones day, which is a great day. You know, it's like, but that everyone on TikTok knows. But if you're outside of TikTok, you're like, what in the hell are you talking about? So there's like kind of these insights. So it's finding like, you know, again, sometimes you just got to watch it and be like, okay, what feels authentic to me? Maybe doing some videos on sharing my story, being like, you know, finding some sounds and being like, here's how I got into it. Here's 3 ways that inspired me to be a, you know, mental health advocate or, you know, a woman's coach, or here's my story. Here's how, you know, it can be whatever it wants, but, you know, trying out a bunch of different things, seeing, and then which ones do well. And then it's like, oh, that one did really well. What did people like about it? The nice thing about TikTok is a lot of people are not scared to tell you what they like and what they don't like. So, you know, they're quick to point out, oh, I love that line. You know, I love the story. You know, you'll see what people gravitate towards, you know, and you get, oh, this video got 2,000 views. The other one's got a couple hundred. I'm doing something right here. What am I doing right? Let's keep playing off of this idea. But honestly, it's just playing around. You know, it's funny. You'll see these huge with millions of followers. You go back to my early videos and it was like a hosh, you know, it was like singing videos, skits, you know, it's like I was, you know, like we all kind of went through the period. It's like, what is my thing? You know, and you just got to do it and just put them up and know that it could do well, it could not do well, but I'm going to learn something from it every time I put something out there.
Okay. Thank you. So brave. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. Right. I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to learn something. Right. It's like, we talk about that all the time. Just what am I supposed to learn today? Doing my FFT. What am I supposed to learn today? And just doing it.
Yep.
So Sam, let's talk. We originally we had scheduled this time.
The original plan.
to talk about how important routine is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that you know, if anybody, whoever follows Sam knows that she is a real stickler for paying attention to her morning routine. So when did that happen? What inspired you? Like, what was it that was like, I got to do something different and maybe I'm going to try this and, you know,
like. So this was even, you know, when I was kind of having like my existential crisis at 28, 29, you know, I did hire a life coach. And I remember one of the biggest things he said was one of the biggest things that changed his life was setting a morning routine. And at first, you know, it's like, oh my God, like if I have to wake up earlier, you know, like I'm like, if I have to, like I already, my mornings are already crazy. I do try to work out in the mornings. You know, it's like, I just feel like there's not one more thing I could add. But I started to listen, especially, you know, I love reading. I love doing a ton of personal development. And there's this book, if you haven't read it, called The Path to Wealth. And it's also an Audible book too. And there's a way that you can do it that's authentic to you. And I think, you know, like what feels best to you in the morning. And even when I started out, and, you know, and every morning's not perfect too. Like I would say, like there's some mornings when I have more time than others. But I almost started, you know, I think you can also start by building, you know, it's like, I'm not going to wake up all of a sudden half an hour early and do this full half an hour routine. I think the first when I started, I was like, all right, I'll just do, just to see how I feel, 10 things I'm grateful for, you know, because that's like what, 2 minutes. That's going to take me 2 extra minutes in the morning, writing down 10 things I'm grateful for in I am so grateful statements. So I started with that. And just by starting with that, I mean, if any of you guys practice gratitude regularly or have learned anything about gratitude, I mean, that is probably like the single best thing, you know, it's like the best little, especially even, I mean, at any time of the day. I mean, if I'm having, you know, a moment during the day or even at night, I mean, a lot of people too, you know, are like, I'm more of a nighttime person. I actually like to do this at night before I go to bed. I sometimes like to do a little bit of both. But just taking, you know, a minute just to literally write down. Sometimes writing, for me, I love to handwrite. You can, you know, say it, you know, obviously read it in your head or say it in your mind. But for me, I love to write it out. Or some people like to type it out too. I'm more of a handwriting person. But it started as that. And I really noticed a massive difference just in I would look forward to like, I'm like, oh, I get to write 10 things I'm grateful for though. Like it was funny how like, my mindset, my alarm went off. It was like, oh, but I get to do my morning routine. Like I loved that. And I would kind of sip my pre-workout or sip my coffee while I would take this time. And I was like, I loved this time in the morning when when a lot of times I feel rushed, like I got to get up and it's like, oh my God, I already feel late. Like, and when you start your morning like that, it just, your system automatically is like stress, anxiety. It's like, the first thing we're like, oh God, I'm already feeling like I'm late. It's like, I got to rush to do this. And it's like, but if I wake up and I'm like, set some time to just wake up on my own pace and take, so then it slowly grew to like, all right, I'll set 10 minutes, aside in the morning. I can really, take the time to write this out. And working with my, life coach, and then also reading this book, The Path to Wealth, she recommends, and what this life coach recommended too, was actually starting out the day, you can start by reading something positive. Like she kind of has like this, she says you need 30 minutes, which again, if a lot of people are like 30 minutes, there's, I'm lucky if I have 3, start with gratitude and build it from there. But I, especially now that I get to make my own schedule, 30 minutes, I like to say, set aside 30 minutes for myself every day. I turn my phone off, which for me is like the hardest thing to do. Turn off my notifications. I light my candles. I play. I have a Spotify list for cozy mornings. I turn on my cozy morning spot. I almost like set a vibe for myself, and I'm like, this is my 30 minutes for me. And I start with like 10 minutes of reading. I have a couple like Game of Life. I have a couple books that like she always says something that's super positive, or you're hearing other inspirational stories. Like The Secret book itself is really great, or A Hero's Journey. Like reading something that's not going to like make you think too hard almost, but it's more of like an inspirational, like I love reading. This Game of Life book is really great. And it's just like little hits, again, 10 minutes, 5 minutes of reading where it's just like hearing someone else inspirational story, these little like tidbits of stories that I love. 10 minutes of reading. And then I have my gratitude journal. And I don't use prompts. I know some people like having prompts or like something to write about. I like just having my blank journal. I put the date. And I literally, I have this little thing, and in The Path to Wealth, she also writes this out too. She's like, this is your time with the universe, like write it to the universe, or she calls it your chief spiritual officer, your CSO, your chief spiritual officer. That's like your boss, it's like, this is your CEO, like you're having your morning business meeting with yourself in a way. That's how you kind of form it. And then it's like having our business meeting. All right, I'm having my business meeting with my highest self. Here's starting with all the things I'm grateful for. Dear, CSO, dear universe, like I am so grateful that you are my partner in life. And then I start writing out, I am so grateful. And it can be, sometimes there are the same things. Sometimes it will be the same thing. A lot of times I'll just start looking around, I'm so grateful for my house. I'm so grateful I have a roof over my head. And then, other things in the last day, was it, I'm so grateful for that interaction that I had with that person. I'm so grateful for my cup of coffee, and I'm so grateful for my family's health. I'm so great. It could be, you just write how you feel. And sometimes it's little things, it's big things, it's feelings, it's memories. Sometimes I'll just go into memories, just kind of write almost like in a paragraph too. Like, I'm so grateful that that I have, I'm doing what I love, whatever it is. And then I love to read it out loud. I feel like there's something about reading it back and reading it out loud, because sometimes also when you're writing, you're kind of like, just writing and kind of getting in the moment. So I like to read it out loud. And then I do have, so my life coach, I wrote like a manifesto that I printed out. I can share this with you guys too. But it's like my business plan, right? Like with myself. Like again, I treat my spiritual, with my highest self is like in my business meeting, I'm the CEO of my life. So I have my dreams, my biggest goals that I read out loud. Then I have like my key attributes on why I'm going to achieve these goals. And then I have all my affirmations at the bottom. So I read this out loud every morning. Again, it takes me 2 minutes. Everything's already printed out. And, you know, that's the other thing. I love doing affirmations. I love reading those out loud. And then I'll do like a 5-minute meditation afterwards to end it. And this is all like in 30 minutes, you know, again. And I'll meditate. And once you have this, you know, you're obviously all the things you're grateful for, you're reading your, you know, I call it, again, my manifesto. And then it's like, who could take me down after that? You know, it's like the world could throw anything at me. You know, I can get 10 messages telling me to die in a hole. And it's like, whatever, you know, like I am just at a level where it's like, I have everything I need. I'm grateful. I have all, you know, it's like, I just, by setting that morning routine, it really is like, from my point of view, like the key to a successful day, really. And I can notice the difference when I don't do it. You know, like I just feel more anxious during the day. You know, I can feel the difference when I'm not doing it. And obviously every day, like I was saying, every day is not perfect. Like there's some days when I'm running late, I'm like, all right, you know, as long as I can get my gratitude, like to me, it always started with the gratitude. And I always am constantly going back to that if I need like a midday pick me up, or even at night, I like to have my little nighttime journal. Gratitude is always like kind of the base to that. So if I have a busy morning, I'm running late, something comes up, you know, at least try to do my gratitude, but I really try to set a time, and I do put it in my calendar. So I literally put meeting with my CSO, meeting with my chief spiritual officer at 7 a.m., you know, every morning. So it's like, that's locked in my calendar. And again, life happens, but that's what I try to do every single morning. And then I'll also too try and work out. I'm big on exercise, trying to move your body in some way too after that. But that's kind of my little, and it Path to Wealth, I really do. And if you're more of like an Audible, it's on Audible too. There was a sale on it. Someone was saying it's like 99 cents. It's a quick, you know, it's not a huge, it's like a thin kind of book like this. But if you like to listen to it too, it's a good motivator to listen to her talk about it.
Awesome. And so you also just started a podcast just like a month ago, right?
Yes.
So that's a big FFT.
Big. You know, and again, it's like, you know, I know my first podcast episode sucked. I know that they all probably are not great right now. You know, it's like, but they're going to get better. You know, it's like every time I do it, I learn something else. And the same thing, like you were asking too about like editing and doing all the video editing, you just learn as you go. You know, thank God we have the internet. I YouTube everything. You should see my Google history. It's like how to edit a video. Like literally I've Googled the internet, you know, you can learn how to do anything. I literally Googled how to start a podcast. There's a whole, you know, I found all these courses on how to start, you know, YouTube is an amazing, it's crazy. You can literally learn anything on YouTube. It's like we have all this information at our fingertips. So, and just, you know, especially with editing videos, like I could hire someone to do it. But part of it, you know, is also the editing can kind of make or break a video. And now I'm so fast at it. I mean, before it would take me hours to edit a video. I can do it in like 50, you know, it's like, because I can do it so easily. I've done it a million times. And I get better and better at it. You probably noticed the videos. Now I know how to do slow-mo. I know how to add music. That's all just playing with it and doing it a million times. Same with the podcast. You know, I'm just like, all right, how do I get the sound better? You know, throwing around. All right, let's play with the audio. You know, how do I make this better? Asking for feedback. You know, I love to have a community be like, what do you guys like? What do you not like? What do you wish there was more of? Everyone wants more James. So we're literally going to record a podcast tonight. Everyone wants to know about James, you know? So I'm like, all right, we're going to do a James podcast, you know? People love to tell you what they like and don't like about things. Don't be scared to ask about it, you know? But also, and not take it too seriously, obviously, you know, when people are being stupid, but you know, your true audience will not be scared to tell you what they like and what they want more of, you know?
Yes, that is true. That is true. Okay, so now that you are an entrepreneur,
yeah,
how do you take a look at all the things that are thrown at you during the day? And do you have a way to prioritize things?
Yes. You know, it's funny. It's like my phone is like the love of my life, but also is like the most thing that can like throw me off. Obviously my phone is like goes crazy. I also am like extremely ADD. So I literally, like a toddler that I am, have a timer. And I like to set my day up, like literally the day before, even the morning, like after I do my morning routine and workout, I like to kind of map out my day and what I have going on. And most of my time, a lot of it is also just trying to be creative and spending time on writing and like blocking certain parts out of my day and trying to organize it in a certain way. Luckily for me, most everything I can do is from home. So it's like, most of the time I'm working in this little room all day long. So, trying to block out my days where, because different projects are going to come up depending on if I have certain gigs. That's the other thing too. If I have certain gigs or I have to go into the city for certain things. But I love using my little timer. It's like, all right, I'm going to do 30 minutes of writing, set my timer and set all my notifications off. Literally, the do not disturb on my phone, even too, like during the day now, because I notice if I get texts or I get calls, it's like, I do not disturb my phone is like the best thing. And same with like my notifications on my computer, just to turn those off so I can focus on writing, so I can focus on, because creating and creativity is a huge part of my day too, is, not being distracted and having time where I can really focus and kind of get in my flow. So I love my little timer, and I do, because every day for me is so different. So, it's hard to like really plan it out. Most of the time, again, it's either the night before I'm looking over what I got to do tomorrow, I'm making my list. All right. And trying, I love having the schedule. I think that's what I loved about corporate America was like, having that set out schedule. So for me, I do, I make my calendar, like I'll, almost do it like I did in corporate America. Like, here are all the meetings I have to have myself. Here's how I'm going to map it out. So I feel like I really have it structured. So I'm not just like willy-nilly going about my day and then using my little timer. This is like on Amazon, and it's like the best thing for my ADD brain.
No, I think that's a great idea that if you, follow any of the, the people that talk about routines or the big successful entrepreneurs, it is about blocking time off and leaving the time for meetings with yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's important. That is part of your workday.
Yeah. Totally.
Is I'm having a meeting with myself. Like that's, as an entrepreneur, we often look at, my time is valuable, and if I'm not working, then there's no income coming in. And so we kind of put that on the back burner. But in reality, that is where the money comes from, when you have time to have a meeting with yourself and see what your next steps are, where you need to pivot. Yep. Or where you need to go forward.
Yes. Well, that's, I don't know if you guys also, for the creative people in here, An Artist's Way. Have you ever read that book, Auntie Mary?
You know what? I think my mother gave that to me.
Really? It's been around forever. That's another book that really changed my outlook, especially as a creative person, because that's too. So I try every day to have at least 30 minutes where I just free write. And An Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Yeah, I think it's been around for like 50 years. I mean, maybe even longer than that. And it's how to be creative and have these creative dates with yourself. And she gives you, it's almost like a play date with yourself. And it gives you all these ideas. It's an amazing book if you're, technically everyone in some way, shape, or form, your occupation has some creative, part to it. So everyone should read it, but that's another really good book, The Artist's Way. Really, really insightful. And, there are some times too, where it does, it's like, it can be a little bit religious, but I just take out, God with universe, or, universe with God, if you are more spiritual, like they mention God a lot, but it's, same idea in a way, depending on what you believe in, but it's a really good book too.
Yeah.
That one.
So who was the author of that book?
This one's Julia Cameron. I'll show you what it looks like. The Artist Way. And it's a little workbook. So like literally, and you're supposed to read it once a week. So each week it's like a 14-week workbook. And I think it's 14 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 weeks. So each week you read a chapter, and she gives you a creative play date with yourself. She gives you some sort of assignment and some sort of prompts or writing ideas. And then she recommends writing at least every day for 4 pages long of, whatever that is, or, 30 minutes. And off these prompts, or, she'll give you some basic, some sort of idea to kind of help you, to help you come up with some things. But it's a really good read. It's an easy read, and it's meant to kind of be like this 12-week she calls like the recovering artist program. Like if you're like stuck and you're like, what do I do? I'm like trying to find new ways to be creative or come up with different ways in my business or whatever it is. This is like, it's like the recovering artist program. It's a good read if you have it. And it also has like where is it? It has this full too. You can just use a notebook, but it has this whole like workbook. So like each week, you have like these little check-in dates that you can use. It's really cool. You don't have to buy this. You can just do like a normal blank workbook, but they do have her own workbook too, which is cool.
Cool. I'll have a look at that. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, that's awesome. And she's got a really big following. And I think she even does like weekend retreats or.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she, like Elizabeth Gilbert, like took her course and like wrote Eat, Pray, Love from it. Like she has like all these like huge authors, obviously it started with like writers. Yeah. But now obviously it's, it's like really, again, everyone's going to have some sort of creativity that they need in their job, no matter what kind of job you have. And it's great. So much comes out from writing. That's another thing too, is just journaling, like how important that is. It's, it's amazing what comes up, and just like the memories, especially for me, is coming up with material, as like a stand-up. A lot of my stuff has come up when I'm writing. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I forgot about how funny that moment is. It's really cool what comes up when you're just free writing like that. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Awesome. Through that vision board workshop, I try and get that in every week is to write, just write, and don't be critical of it. Don't judge it. Don't just let it flow.
Yep. And she talks a lot about that. She's like, you can literally, I don't care what you're writing, even if it's like, I don't know what I'm writing, like, just write, because something will eventually, even if you're writing and it's like, about your day and you're like, I don't know what to write, I don't know why I'm writing, you'll just start, funny, it'll just start to come. Like, just write, it'll come, don't think about it. Yeah. And this isn't, it's like, this is for you, this is for no one eyes only. Write for you. You can write whatever you want. And a lot of times that, you'll discover a lot of things that'll come out from it naturally.
I just love writing. I actually have 2 little granddaughters, and I write them a letter after I've been with them. And one day when I'm not here, they can have those letters.
I love
that. They will learn about me as a person.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah. I love that.
I thought I was the only person that did handwriting.
There's something so much more, it's like when it comes, especially when, it's something like this, when you're free writing, it's like, there's something that just is so, I don't know. It's like that connection of the hand, when you're typing, it just sometimes, and I just like, yeah, it's right. This just it's so much more natural to handwrite. I completely agree. Yeah, it's something about just having an open book, or an open notebook to write on.
They're actually discovering through science studies that children are missing neuron connections, or neurology is changing because they're going from cursive writing is being taken out. Now it's just print writing to typing.
Yeah.
And actually they're discovering something, a link is now missing because of it.
Not surprising.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They don't know what the connection is between the writing hand, whether it's the left or the right hand, and the brain. And they have been able to research or find that just what Stacy was saying, the neurons, when you're typing, don't fire off. So you could handwrite something and then type the same thing, and two different experiences in your in your brain, with what goes on in your body. So two different experiences, even as far as down to what happens with your hormones when you're writing as opposed to when you're typing. So it's really significantly different. So putting the pen to paper, I like to hear the scratch of my I write with a pencil. I like to hear the scratch of the pencil, either a pencil or a fountain pen. Just that scratch, that, I don't know, it just makes me feel so satisfied.
Yeah.
When I started writing letters to the girls, I started emailing them, and they've both got email accounts in my name. Somehow I worked it out, and I started emailing them, and it just didn't feel right. When I started I bought a journal each for them, and I write them a letter after I've been with them, or we've done something significant together, or they've said something special. Like my 2-year-old, I was feeding her one day, and she put her hands on each side of my face, and she said, "Oh, Grandma, I just love you." And things like that. I mean, I was feeding her noodles, which is her favourite meal, and just out of the blue she did it. And things like that I write down, and how it made me feel about her and things like that. And when I write it with a biro or a pen or a pencil, whatever, I get a different feeling, a different emotion, which I really love. And hopefully the girls will feel that when they read my letters.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. I tend to judge myself more when I'm typing.
Yes.
I want it to be perfect when I'm handwriting, I have scribbles all over it, and notes and stars and arrows and underlines.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, Mary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sam, this is awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? Bata, Teresa, Joanne, do you want to chime in here at all? And Sam, this is being recorded, and the recording goes out to our email list. So we may have extra questions that might come in over the week from them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead, Joanne.
I just wanted to say, Samantha, I've heard you sing, and your voice is absolutely beautiful. So
thank you.
I hope you get a lot more opportunity to sing, because everyone should hear your voice.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're inspiring the younger women, but you're inspiring us older women too. I just want you to know that too.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I think that's, also to the lesson is like, it's never too late to, whether you're 31, 41, 61, 12, it's like, you can do whatever you want. Life is too short. I think if anything, a lot of people over COVID realized, like, tomorrow we could be back in lockup, and like, you just never know. Like, why are we not doing more of what makes us happy and what we love? And, life is just way too short, for us to take anything for granted. So
that's for sure.
Yeah. No matter who you are.
I think that there are many positive takeaways from COVID, as hard as that may sound to some people. I think that there are a lot of positive takeaways if we sit and think about what transpired and how now we can do things. I wouldn't be here right now online if it wasn't for COVID. It was out of necessity that I had to take this all online. Otherwise, I would still be, wondering what I was going to do. And so, yeah, there's been lots. Dates with my granddaughter every single day. Cammie calls me every single morning.
Oh.
Her feet don't hit the ground and I have a phone call. She never gets out of bed until she calls me.
That is so cute.
That's special.
I know, like that would not have happened if it wasn't desperation on her part to talk to somebody. I just happened to be the one to pick up the phone.
I don't think I would have probably met you, Mary, if
No, right.
yeah.
Likewise,
Well, I
yeah.
had the double whammy, as you know, the cancer treatment and COVID. Then COVID hit, and I think the only way I could reach out, because I wasn't able to go out with the immunity thing, was through the computer and through meeting people online. And you did that great inspirational talk on Grand Women. And that's when I started following you, and we connected there. And I really appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Yes, of course. My pleasure. My pleasure, because, you know, this whole thing, you know, I just keep harping on how important all of this is to just give it a try. And Sam, I think that you're like the epitome of that. Just trying things. And after hearing your story and hearing what your progression of, I'm just, you know, just gonna give it a try. I'm just gonna give it a try and see what I like, see what I want to do more of. I think that's also, I don't know about you other women in here that are entrepreneurs or thinking about doing something different, whether it's moving to a different country or just doing something different with your life. You know, we get so in our heads instead of coming from our heart. And I think that is where you're at, you know, when you talk about, I'm just gonna see what happens and do more of what brings me joy.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard finding what brings you joy, because you know, life is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be a struggle. I'm supposed to have to fight for everything that I want in life, and that's the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Yeah, the exact opposite. So this has been an awesome hour with you, Sam. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome. It was so great chatting with you guys. I took some good takeaways too. You know, it's like I always stuff like this too. It's always reinvigorating for me too. So, so I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been amazing to meet you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow Sam. She's got a gig coming up in New York. If anybody happens to be in New York on December 10th at the Wall Street Theater, that's a big deal.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, it's like 500 people. So talk about another FFT. I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But it's going to be great. It's going to, you know, I'm going to figure it out.
You'll smash it.
I'm going to figure it out. That needs to be our new motto for this group. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that's another good book. Everything's figure outable. I don't know if you
Marie Forleo.
Yeah.
Everything is figure outable. Yes. It's recently came out maybe about 6 months ago, I think, or something. Yeah. Everything is figure outable by Marie Forleo. And don't forget to follow Sam on her podcast, which is Weird and Proud is the name of her podcast, because you'll be able to like see what's or the unfolding of this like firsthand, because you've only got 3 episodes, right, Sam?
4 episodes. Yeah, we just put the 4th one out last week. So 4 episodes up. Yeah. So this is like, brand new. It's like, you know, I'm trying to figure it out too. It's like, this is something brand new. You know, we're learning, and you know, what's the expression, like trying to fly the plane and build it at the same time, you know, it's like trying to figure it out, but it's like, when else, you know, there's never a perfect time to do it. You just got to do it. You know, it's like, you know, I kept pushing off. I'm like, should I do it after the new year? Like, no, you start right now, you know, start scared, start it now.
Yeah.
There's never a better time than
Oh my
right.
gosh, it's so awesome. So awesome. So on TikTok, your Sam Ramsdell 5.
Yes.
Same thing on Instagram. So
Yep.
I can put that in the chat.
Yeah.
Sam Ramsdell 5 on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah. I think if you search my name,
Yeah.
I think on Facebook it's more of searching my name.
If you've ever, it's I love to like Google people, right? So I do, every once in a while I'll just be like, oh, let me see what, new photos of Sam. And KFC, honestly, the stuff you did on Halloween with KFC, I thought I was going to pee my pants, honestly.
We're crying. Yeah.
It was nothing short of hysterical. So Sam will always be sure to put a smile on your face, or, like cock your head a little bit and go, wow, that's juicy. So
yes, that's for sure.
Oh, and then you can let her know what you like, and who knows what might what might come of it. So this has been great.
Yeah.
So Sam, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna let Kirsten is here. Kirsten must have gotten her alarm right, just so that we can say Yolanta. I just saw Yola just came in. Yola's from Poland. Kirsten's from New Zealand. So
Mary, I think maybe the time change, because mine just came through too, and it shows for 10, but I knew it was 9 o'clock because it's always at 9 o'clock. So I think maybe a little time change happened.
Yeah, yes, we
Poland
changed.
6 p.m.
And
you started an hour ago, so
yes, we changed our
tried
time
an hour ago, and I wasn't getting in, so I figured, oh well, you probably just didn't realize that. So fine, I missed it, I guess.
Well, we'll have the recording out on Monday, Yola.
Okay. Okay.
So
Sure.
no need to worry.
Okay.
If you have any questions for Sam, now is the time. Hi, Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Hello.
So Kirsten, sorry we missed you. We're just about to sign off here. So the recording will be out.
If she's in New Zealand, she's the 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, she's like,
it's 4 a.m. right? Or 5 a.m.
Yeah, a.m. Yeah. Right.
5 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jane, for showing up. We appreciate you spending your early morning with us. Same with you, Kirsten.
Thank you. I've tried a few times and I've fallen asleep before I've gone on and missed the alarm.
Total love it. So again, if you have any questions or any thoughts after this is over, feel free to email me, send Sam a message.
Yeah, totally.
You're happy to do that as well.
Yeah.
So stay connected, keep the conversation going about, doing something for the first time and just doing it. The year is not over. There's no reason why not to start something. Annie, you just got on TikTok, so maybe we're going to see something from you before the year's over.
Yeah, sure.
So you never know what's going to happen. So as always, when I end the sessions, may I always see the truth. May I always speak the truth. May I always feel the truth. I love you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
So, thank you, Sam.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Today was awesome. It's been brilliant.